Hello, I'm Danny and welcome to my YouTube channel. I have used this channel on and off over the years, but this will be my first time really coming back to it. I used to make videos in high school, so about like 10 years ago now. But I'm back. I'm really gonna give it a go this time. I've got lots of ideas, I've got lots of adventures I want to bring you on, but to start off, we are going to be doing an indie bookstore crawl of downtown Toronto, starting with the West End. I found this awesome indie bookstores of Toronto map while I was out on a date with my partner last year, maybe a year and a half ago, and I've had it in my head since then that I wanted to do an indie bookstore crawl, and I just haven't had the time or the money. Initially, when I was planning this book crawl, I really wanted to be able to support each bookstore in some kind of way if I bought a book from each or something like that. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do it for this long because I haven't had the funds to be able to do that. And I figured, you know what, it's better to just go and visit them all and get a feel for all of them now, because I always knew I wanted to post it online. And so better to go and get a feel for it and show them off to other people so that they can get support from others. And then when I finally have the finances, I can go back and support them myself. And this is just part one. There will be multiple parts because we are starting off pretty late in the day and most of these bookshops close down by 6. So we're kind of just doing a few today and there will be more in the future. Today we will be visiting a Different Booklist, Little Ghost Books, Flying Books, Sellers in Newel, and Glad Day Bookshop on Church Street. I'm super excited to go on this trip and I'm super excited to bring you with me, and I can't wait to see what all of these bookstores have in store for us. Let's go. We have arrived at our first stop, a Different Booklist. Let's go inside. A Different Booklist is an African-Canadian owned bookstore that specializes in African literature, and they have books from larger publishers as well as more indie publishers, as well as fiction, non-fiction. They have books for people of all ages, from pre-K to middle school to YA. And I have to say, of all the bookstores we visited today, this was the one where I came out with the most books added to my TBR because there was just so much that I was so interested in. I didn't even really get the chance to look at everything else because we were on such a time crunch, but there was I could have just spent hours in there looking through, adding things to my TBR. I'm showing you a few here that I will be adding. And the book that interested me the most of everything I saw was this book, Welcome to Bathurst, and it's literally just local Black history on Bathurst Street, right where the store is located. I thought it was so cool. I will definitely be coming to pick this one up when I get my next paycheck. And A Different Booklist also doubles as an event space, but they had some things going on while we were in there that I didn't really want to interrupt with my filming. First stop was pretty awesome. I loved the little area they have for it's like a combined space for the event space and the bookstore. It was really sweet. Everyone in there was so nice. I talked to one of the bookstore employees and one of the event coordinators. So nice. I really want to go back and check out their events. I went to their website to check out what other kind of events they have going on, and I found all of these really cool book lists that contains all of their catalog, and it's sorted into different subject matters. Like they have Caribbean studies, they had Palestinian titles, a tribute to local authors, which I thought was so cool because I would never know to research all the authors and figure out which ones are local, so I really appreciated that. And I just loved all of the different categories that they had on display because I just think that's so helpful because you can go on, figure out what you want to read, figure out if they have it, and then go in and pick up the book, which I thought was awesome. And it also looks like you can order books online. And here are some of the events they have going on, mostly throughout the month of September, late September, mostly book launches, but they do have programs for youth that are definitely worth checking out. And they also have all of the prices of their books listed online as well as their availability in store. Then we did a quick little detour to Coco's because it was on the way to the next bookshop, and it is so cute in there. All of the drinks look so good. I ended up getting their daily lemonade, which was like a guava jalapeno juice kind of thing. It was so delicious, and let me tell you, I am not good with spicy, but it was so good and so refreshing. And the cafe has this little upstairs laptop-free area, which is where we ended up sitting down to eat. Here is me taking the first bite of my pain au chocolat. I didn't get my face in the frame. I'm so sorry. I'm new at this, but it was so delicious. I will absolutely be going back there. 10 out of 10 experience. Drinks is great. Food is great. The vibes there are immaculate. I could sit there for hours and work on my iPad. I think the best time to go would be like right after open in the morning when everything is fresh. They have breakfast sandwiches, so I might go back and do that sometime. We are at Little Ghost Books, which is actually the bookstore I've been most excited to visit. I've been following them on Instagram for such a long time, and I'm so excited to be here. Little Ghost is a bookstore that focuses primarily on horror books published by independent authors, although they do have some of the mainstream like Stephen King and the classics, of course. They also have some events going on. I believe they have a little vendor marketplace pop-up coming in late September. They also have the Little Ghosts Weekend Festival with panels. Authors will be coming in to speak. There will be some workshops. It looks really, really cool. They also had pins and stickers available from local artists. I thought these were so cute. I wanted to buy all of them. I really, really did. I only ended up buying 2. They also had some really cute merch on tote bags as well as t-shirts and sweaters. And they have this kind of back room, second floor with all the Goosebump books, even more horror books, which leads out to the back patio. And if you go out there, there is someone out there waiting to see you, so I would proceed with caution. Though if you see him, do tell him I said hello. Me and bestie. They also had a really cool collection of queer horror, which is something I've never really seen represented in any bookstores before, so I was very excited about that. And also a little spicy section full of perfectly normal romance books. Nothing strange or weird about these at all. That was my favorite stop so far, and the staff were so nice. I will absolutely be going back for their events. They look so cool. Little Ghost website, also super cool. You can go on there and pay for horror box subscriptions, like monthly or yearly, and I thought that was super cool and something I would also consider, again, when my paycheck comes in. And then Sticker Club? Sign me up. Sign me up! And then here are some more of their upcoming events, some signings, some readings, and you can also find all of their merch and t-shirt and clothing and sticker designs on the website as well. Our third book stop was Sellers in Newel, which was our first secondhand bookshop of the day, and it was so nice and cozy inside, not to mention that the selection is amazing. It is a lot of older publications, which is awesome because it's a great place to find the classics. I also loved this little vampire and Dracula section they had on a bookshelf that looked like a coffin. It was so cute, and it was all vampire books in there. And if that's not enough, there is also a basement where you can find even more selection, and this is the stairway going down. I thought it was super cool. They had posters of events they had there, and then there was this guy waiting for us in the basement. And one thing I really loved about this place was that they had tons of old plays. This was the only bookstore we gone to all day that actually had any plays. Alright, so they had a huge collection of really old books, and I love that they had a little play section in the basement full of tons of like really old plays, and I'm kind of obsessed with that. I really want to buy something, but I'm on a budget today, so if you're looking for lots and lots of variety in your old books, that's where you want to go. Our final stop of the day was Flying Books. Of course, at the time, we did not know that this was going to be our final stop of the day. More on that later. And this was, for me, visually my favorite spot. Because of the way all of the books are laid out, they're all facing you, and that made it really accessible for me to actually look at and take in everything I was seeing. This, to me, was the bookstore with the most variation in the kind of books that they sell. There was no specific theme other than, focusing on selling more indie books, but otherwise you could find pretty much anything there. There are a lot of books by bigger publications, like I saw some of the Hunger Games books, I saw some of the ACOTAR books, and there's nothing I love more than a staff pick section at an indie bookstore. I love seeing what people who really, really, really love books are reading. And much like every other bookstore we visited today, there is a section for the classics. Flying Books is really good. I really liked how all of the books were laid out where you can kind of see the cover, because it was a lot easier for my brain to focus and like pay attention to each thing. When they're usually lined up like by the spine, I can't really focus on them. So I love the way that the whole store was laid out. So far, that's my favorite in terms of like visibility of all the books. The most exciting thing I learned from the Flying Books website is that they do publish their own books. They only have 3 so far, all by local authors, and all of the covers have this cute little theme. I'm super interested in checking those out. They also have this really cool mentorship program for aspiring authors, and the mentors specialize in all sorts of different things. There's fiction, nonfiction, poetry, even grant writing. So if you are a Toronto-based aspiring author, you should definitely check out this website, because finding community and having people to support you is something that is so important when we're chasing our dreams, and this is just a brilliant idea in my opinion. Then we stopped for dinner and had planned on going to Glad Day, only to find out that it is now closed. I'm so disappointed because that was the one I'd actually been to before and been to fairly often, and I loved it so much. So we found ourselves at Cruise and Tangos instead, which is not a bookstore, but if you're in Toronto, it's worth checking out and it's so much fun. I am back. It is tomorrow. We ended up out super late, so I didn't get a chance to finish the vlog, but I'm just coming in to wrap things up. We had such a great time, and I can't wait to do the next one because there are so many indie bookstores in Toronto, so we will absolutely be doing it again. And one thing I hope to do differently next time is to make it, yes, a bookstore crawl, but we also pass by a ton of like really cool indie stores on the way to all these different bookstores, and I'd love to be able to pop in and give them a little feature as well. I wasn't really focusing much on that yesterday, but that's something I really want to incorporate in the future. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.